A very good morning, everyone, and welcome to ManageEngine free training program. Thank you so much for taking your time to join today's session. So, ManageEngine offers full-fledged endpoint security and management solution, be it Desktop Central that serves as a complete unified endpoint management and security solution, and we also have separate and individual products that serves your need or demand and the budget. So these are the list of products that we offer under the category management as well as security. Let me introduce myself. I'm Vaishnavi, product specialist for Desktop Central, and I'll be your presenter for the day. So as you can see right here, it's a 5-week training series, and we are in week 4, which is on the remote control and the associated tools. So for the benefit of everyone, all these training sessions are being recorded and those are available at the link that is shown right here below. So if you have missed any of the training sessions above, please make use of the link here, desktopcentral.com/training, where you can find the recorded sessions. So yes, during the course of the training, if you have concerns on Desktop Central in general or the remote control functionality, please feel free to raise it on chat and I have an expert panel who could help you with that. So yes, what is Desktop Central? So Desktop Central is a complete unified endpoint security and management solution that help you secure and manage desktops, laptops, mobiles, tablets, point of sale devices as well as your servers together from a central location. So here, as you can see, in classic desktop management, we may lack features to meet the modern day network setup. So Desktop Central comes up with a unified umbrella approach where you can manage your desktops, laptops, modern day management devices, and your mobile devices. You can also perform OS imaging and deployment all together under a single license. So if you're interested in this unified endpoint management, please put a message on chat. We have an exclusive UEM edition which will provide you all of these features, which means your desktop management, your mobile device management, your OS deployment, as well as your modern day management together under a single license. So Desktop Central supports all 3 major operating systems, Windows, Mac, and Linux together. These are the various flavors that we support. So let's get into the glimpse of Desktop Central's architecture. So Desktop Central is a unified endpoint security and management solution, as I stated. So it's an on-premises solution, which means you need to have your Desktop Central server installed in any of the Windows computers in your target network or in your local network. So once you have the server installed, you have a very light component called as your agent that is to be installed in all the machines that you would like to manage using Desktop Central. So once you have your Desktop Central server as well as your agent put up, you can manage computers in your local area network and your wide area network. So this is the basic schema on how it works. So Desktop Central follows a client server model. So which means all your agents will communicate with your Desktop Central server to pick up the task and have it executed. So besides this, you'll also be able to manage roaming devices as well. So right here, as you can see, we have this unique component called as the distribution server, which acts as a bridge between your computers in your wide area network or your branch offices and your Desktop Central server. So Desktop Central, consider a case where you manage or deploy a patch from your centralized Desktop Central server. And as I told you, Desktop Central follows a client server model. All your clients will communicate with your Desktop Central server and pick up the task. So if it happens via wide area network, a lot of your bandwidth may be consumed. So to optimize your bandwidth, distribution server gets into action. So with this distribution server, you can optimize a bandwidth to the greater extent where your distribution server alone will communicate with your Desktop Central server, pick up the deployed task, and have it locally distributed among the remote office clients. So this is how it works. So when I said about agent installation, Desktop Central offers three major methods of agent installation. One is through your Windows Group Policy Startup scripts. Another is you can completely automate your process of agent installation from your Desktop Central console. And we also provide you the manual or the script-based deployment where you can instantly download the installable, have it stored in a USB stick, or you can remotely share it in a network repository and share it across. And when it comes to this automated agent installation, all you have to do is to add your domain or the work group under Desktop Central's management. So once you do that, your Desktop Central server will establish a communication with your Active Directory, pass the information, and have it listed in your Desktop Central's console, from where you can select the computers to which you want to push the agents and have it sorted from there instantly. So these are the components that Desktop Central makes use of. So we discussed about the server, the agent. So we'll be dealing in detail about the notification server in this session in future. And also we have this component called the distribution server, which we discussed right now. So we also have a secure gateway, which is nothing but a forwarding server. As the name says, the secure gateway acts as a bridge between your desktop center server and your roaming users. So any communication from your roaming users to the desktop center server will be routed only through your secure gateway. So using the secure gateway, your desktop central server will remain secure in your local network, and the secure gateway is the component that is exposed to the internet. So if you have concerns in hosting your desktop central server on the internet, so secure gateway is the best option for you. So we also have this concept of this failover server, which is nothing but a backup server that runs in parallel along with your main desktop central server. So whenever your desktop central server fails, your backup server, your failover server will instantly start taking up the tasks and get that performed for you. We also have a multiple language pack. So let's get into the interesting concept of 90-minute refresh policy. So as I told you, Desktop Central is a client server model, so which means all your clients should communicate with your desktop central server to pick up the task. Imagine a case where you're managing more than 10,000 computers, or a large network where there are a number of computers communicating with your desktop central server at the same instance. Two things may happen. One, your bandwidth may get choked, or your server functionality will get disrupted. So having these two things in mind, Desktop Central has this 90-minute refresh policy with which it has the intelligence to slice down the number of computers communicating with the Desktop Central server per minute. So with this, one computer will communicate with your Desktop Central server for every 90 minutes. A given computer will communicate with your Desktop Central server once in every 90 minutes. This way, even a very large scale of computers can be seamlessly managed using your Desktop Central server. So these are the ports used by Desktop Central. The port 8383 or 8020 ensures seamless agent server communication. So each and every port has its own significance. Having any of these ports will have an impact on the respective functionalities. So ensure you have these ports properly configured. So to know more on ports, please visit desktopcentral.com/ports. So if you have concerns on hosting your server, your desktop central server on premises, you can go ahead and host your desktop central server on, we're readily available on AWS and Azure marketplaces. You can have those servers configured in those marketplaces as well. So this way you can avoid the time and effort or the costs employed in setting up and maintaining the server. So let's get into the core part of today's agenda, which is remote control and the tools associated. So here is the agenda for the day. So we'll have an overview on how the desktop central remote control works, its architecture as well, and some useful information on how to set up the desktop central's remote control. And then moving forward, we'll see how help desk technicians can use desktop central's remote control in resolving help desk tickets. Then we'll come up with the most common scenario faced by system administrators on daily basis. Yes, the system slowness, on how to handle or troubleshoot system slowness effectively using desktop central. Then enforcing IT policies is a very important step in every enterprise. So system administrators are responsible for enforcing these IT policies. Let's see how desktop central can help you with that. And then we'll have a quick look on notifying the end users on a critical announcement. Say your exchange server fails, and how do you notify your end users on the same? And also we'll look at this few real-time scenarios faced by enterprises and solutions offered by Desktop Central. And we'll wrap up the session with a few frequently asked questions along with the answers. So why enterprises require remote control and the tools associated to it? So it's very crucial to have an intelligent remote control tool put in place. So first thing is, as system administrators, I know you guys are always expected to do more from less. You'll be having a fair share of your help desk tickets that you have to take care of, multiple phone calls on troubleshooting tickets. You're responsible for enforcing these security policies. So you also have to maintain seamless communication between your end users and ensure everything goes well with them. So you need a systematic and an intelligent remote control tool put in place. So let's see how Desktop Central remote controls can serve the purpose. So to make things better, I consider myself as a help desk technician, and I have an end user who have raised a help desk query to me. So this is the ticket. So he needs to install Adobe Acrobat application, and also he complains that his Wi-Fi connection is not working. So this ticket has been raised to me through Service Desk Plus, which is SDP, which is nothing but an help desk solution, which is a sister product of Desktop Central. So I received the ticket, and now I am the technician. As the system administrator or the technician, I need to have these tickets resolved. So let me take you straight to the product. So this is the home screen of Desktop Central. As you know, Desktop Central is completely web-based, and all you have to do to access the product is to provide the server name or the IP or the XQDN followed by the port details. You're all set to access the server. So once you reach the home screen, I would like to navigate you to the Tools tab where you can find the remote control. So the first thing we're going to do is to remotely control the end user's computer and have the application installed, and we also will try to resolve his Wi-Fi issue. So right here, as you can see, I'll get the complete list of all the computers that I'm managing so far. From here, I can go ahead and use the search option and search for the particular user's computer. So you can see right here, this is how it appears. So here I have an interesting option where I'll get the list of all the available users. I can specifically take remote control on the particular user alone. So before we connect to the end user's computer, I would like to show you on various options available in this particular screen. So if your company is concerned about end users' privacy and security, we have an option right here, which would, having this enabled, will prompt the user before initiating the remote session. So each time you try to initiate a remote session, the end user will be prompted first. So upon end user's confirmation, your remote session will be initiated. So we support two different viewers. So we always recommend you to go with this HTML5 viewer, which we think is more seamless and efficient compared to your ActiveX viewer. So here are the various other options. So this will provide you the complete history on all the remote sessions that you have initiated. We also have a specific remote control specific settings right here. You can also have the screen recording enabled. So each time you connect to the end user, you can automatically have the session recorded and stored it as an MP4 file. So this can be used as a training material, or it can also be used for audit trail purposes. So we have unique remote control performance settings, and here is the more precise version of the user confirmation that we just discussed. So let's go back. We'll deal in detail with all of these settings one by one in future in the session. So here I'll be connecting to Bob's laptop. So once I click on the connect, I would be asked for a reason message, which means as to why I would like to connect to the end user's laptop. So I'll mention the reason here. And here, this is another interesting segment. So if you're using your desktop central server integrated with your service diskless application, you can provide the request ID, the ticket ID of the service diskless app right here. So if the you can provide the help desk ticket number right here and have the connection established. So once I click connect, so as you can see right here, the end user's computer is connected to two different monitors. So I get the complete list of all the monitors available right here. So I can also choose to view different monitors, and I also have various layout settings right here. So from which I can choose the switch between multiple monitors. So once the remote session is initiated, so you can see right here, it notifies the end user saying this session is being remotely controlled by the particular user. So as you can see, so the session is remotely controlled by the user, administrator, and also this prompts that the session is being recorded as well. So here, before we get into the ticket, the core part of the ticket, so here are the various options that are available, the inbuilt options available inside our remote control. So you can change the size of the screen. You can also choose to refresh the session once, and you have this inbuilt actions that you can perform with which you can use the Control Alt Delete option, the Alt tab. You can also choose to blacken the end user's monitor. Consider a case where you're going to access a critical information or a secret network repository while you're troubleshooting. So you don't want your end user to know the credentials or the access for the secret repository. In such cases, you can, for better security, you can just choose to blacken the end user's monitor. So once you select this option, you will get a notification saying that the remote monitor has been blackened for the end user. You can also choose to revoke the settings from here as well. So once you choose the option, the blackened monitor settings would be revoked. So this is one of the settings that will ensure better security from the technician side. You can also disable the input from the remote end. You can also choose to use the client's keyboard. And here is this view only mode where you'll not be given any control, and you can just choose to idly sit and view the session. And you can also quickly take snapshots of the screens as well. And here is the quick launch option where you can perform a few system management operations. So instead of following the classic method of using this Windows tool right here, you can just do those in clicks. You can invoke the command prompt. You can also perform a few computer management operations. You can access the control panel of the end user's machine, the device manager. You can perform a few tweaks in the display settings. You can also choose to view the event viewer and also the file explorer right here. You also have the power option. So right here you can choose to instantly reboot the computer or shut the computer down once the remote session is successful. So if you choose to reboot the computer, another important thing is that your desktop central's remote control has the intelligence to automatically reconnect the session once the reboot is complete. So say for example, during the troubleshooting process, you are bound to or you're forced to reboot the computer to check everything goes fine. If you choose for the reboot option, once the reboot is successful, your session will be automatically reconnected so that your troubleshooting cycle is uninterrupted. So you can also perform certain admin tasks like cleaning up the disk, configuring the disk cleanup settings. You can also make use of the task scheduler, and you can also choose to update the group policy right here. So this is also here right here. You can also choose to run these tasks, these administrative tasks. By default, it will use the admin systems user. You can also change the user right here. So here we also have an inbuilt voice, video, or text chat support, and you can also make use of the hotkeys. So here is the file transfer tool. So let's get into the ticket. So our ticket is to install the Adobe Acrobat application to the end user. So I have the installables as well as the license keys in my local computer from which I have initiated the remote session. So here is the inbuilt file transfer tool which I can make use of. So once you click on the file transfer tool, you'll get the list of all the files that are available in this particular device, which means the local computer, and this is the end user's computer. You can choose to send as well as receive the files from the end user. So you can just select the user, select the files or the folders, and you can just send those to the end user's machine. You can also choose to send the files from the end user's machine to your local computer. Say for example, you need to analyze a few logs that you've just generated on the end user's machine. So you need not wait for the end user to send you those logs. You can just select those log files and have it sent to your computer using this option and just clicks. So here I'll select, all I'll do is to just transfer my installables, the Adobe Acrobat application installable, as well as my license keys from my computer, the local computer, to the remote computer and have it executed. So this is how I've successfully installed the remote computer with the application. So the next part of the ticket is to check on the Wi-Fi issue. I am a first level technician, and I also try to make few changes in the device manager to check if my Wi-Fi configurations are made properly. But I right now need help from a senior technician who knows well about the Wi-Fi adapters. So right here, I am inviting my senior technician to get into the issue. So to make you understand these things better, I'll log in from a different browser and show you how this works. So I log in as a different user right here. I log in as Peter to show you how this works. So once Peter is logged into the machine, he gets into the Tools tab, the remote control. Once he enters the session, as you can see right here, Bob's control, instead of connect, he'll only get to see the view desktop option. As there is an existing connection live already, he'll just have the option to view the desktop. So it will also prompt me the another user is already sharing, has established a session with this desktop. So yes, so right here, yeah. So once I enter into the session, so as you can see right here, the view only mode alone will be enabled for the second technician who is entering the remote session. So I can go here and choose the active mode. So once I choose the active mode, I'll be able to seamlessly access the remote computer. So until I enable the active mode, I'll be only given the view only privileges. So the second technician should always ensure that he goes in and enables the active mode. So Peter gets into action and resolves the Wi-Fi issue as well. So this way I've successfully closed the ticket. So let's go back to our presentation. So I'll just leave the session as of now. So once I choose to disconnect the session, as I have integrated my desktop central server with my Service Desk Plus application, which is nothing but a help desk ticketing software. So if you remember, while the recent message was asked, I was also providing the ticket ID from the Service Desk Plus. So this is the ticket ID I just provided. I can from here choose to change the status of the ticket. I can either choose to close the ticket if the issue has been resolved, or I can choose to mark it as resolved. I can also, if the issue has not been resolved yet, I can put the ticket on hold, and I can also choose to add a work log and a resolution that I provided, and I can also drop a few notes for the other technician who will be taking care of the ticket or for audit purposes, and save it. So once I save it, automatically the ticket will be either closed, or if I put it on hold, the status of the ticket will automatically get updated in the end users, in the Service Desk Plus portal. So this is the first scenario. The second scenario, before we get into the second scenario, we saw how the remote control works in the front end. So how does this actually work at the back end? So once the technician one or myself, once I initiated the session, once I clicked on connect, this request has been sent to the desktop central server. So desktop central server has two different components. One's your notification server, another is the gateway. This notification server, as the name says, just acts as a component that just notifies the target computer that there is a on-demand task or a remote control session that has been initiated. And from the gateway, the images that are captured will be sent to the technician one. So this is how it works. So when the second technician comes and joins the remote session, as already a session has been live in the network, he'll get to see the screen captures directly. So this is how the remote control works at the backend. So let's proceed. So yes, the most common issue that the system administrators face on day-to-day basis, this system slowness. So consider a case, my manager is out somewhere in a very critical meeting with one of our partners or resellers. So he's held up with a presentation, and while the presentation, he just notices that his system is terribly slow, and he just immediately calls me and says that, dude, my system is literally slow. Do something. I'm under circumstance and I'm under a meeting. So I want you to immediately work on the system slowness. So obviously you'll not be able to remotely control his computer to check on it. So you will be interrupting his workflow. So you have to do this without initiating a remote session. So how do you do that? So let's get into the product. Under Tools tab, we have this option called as a System Manager. So the first basic step I would do as a system administrator. So when there is a report saying that my system is slow, what I'll just do is to just go quickly check for certain processes and services. I'll just kill the unwanted process services running in the target computer. So here I'll go ahead with processes. As you can see right here, once I click on processes, my system, my desktop central server, will run a quick check or a quick query on the end user's computer and get the list of all the processes running in the target computer right here. As you can see, these are the various processes running in the end user's computer. So I get to access all of those processes, and also right here I can choose to kill the process. So if I find any unwanted process running, I can just go ahead and kill the process. So you can also filter these by the various users, and you'll also get the complete details on the target computer as well. So the name of the computer, the operating system under which it's running, the service pack version, the IP address of the computer, the NetBIOS name, the user that is currently logged on the computer. Also, moving forward, here are the services that are running in the computer. You can also choose to start or restart, or you can also change the mode of the service as well, starter mode of the service as well. Here you have the command prompt So right here, generally the command prompt run as a system user. You can also change that from using this option right here. You can also make changes to the registry values, registry key values right here using this option. You also have a full-fledged file manager that gives you a complete details on the list of files and folders available in the target computer. So if at all you find an unwanted or malicious file or a folder that is present in the target computer, you can just go ahead and you can choose to add files, or you can also choose to delete the files as well. So here is the event viewer, so Windows event log viewer, and you get the list of all the hardware and hardware events right here. Here is the device manager, which will give you a complete device insight on the total number of devices, also the device drivers connected to your machine, the status of those drivers as well, and also the shares associated to this particular computer can be viewed right here. And also you can choose to view the list of all the printers that is associated to this particular computer, the groups associated to this particular computer, and you also get to see the complete list of all the software installed in this particular computer. So when it comes to enforcing the IT policies in the network, so as system administrators, we'll be informed by our top management saying that these particular software should not prevail in the network. So if you find any of your end users using uh, an unwanted application running in the network, you can go ahead and quickly uninstall those software using the option right here. So yeah, you can also get to see the complete list of all the users associated to this particular computer and along with the status of the user as well. So these are the various diagnostic tools that we offer from Desktop Central, which may come handy when you want to remotely troubleshoot a computer without having to establish a remote session. So I make a few changes right here, and I'm still finding the computer is slow. So again, what I'll do is I have an interesting option right here called the system tools. So I want to now delete a few unwanted or temporary files from my target computer. So here is the task I would like to add. So I've already added a task right here, the Bob machine diagnosis. I'll just modify and show you how I added such a task. So these are the operations that I can perform. I can check for the disk space. I can clean up the disk. I also can defragment a particular disk or drive. So here I'll quickly provide the name of the task, the description, and also followed by that, I'll choose the task I would like to perform. In this case, I would like to perform all three tasks, and I'll then define each one of the tasks. And I will select the disk I would like to check upon, and then I'll also perform a quick check. I'll choose if I would like to perform a quick check, and I'll also choose to fix the errors in the disk. And moving forward, I'd configure the cleanup settings to clean up the unwanted or temporary or cache files in my target computer, which will effectively increase the working speed of the computer. So if your end user is using a Windows 10 version 1703 or above, which means the latest Windows 10 version, then there is this interesting phenomena called the storage sense. This storage sense automatically frees up the disk space by getting rid of the temporary files that you don't need. You can have it configured as well. So this is completely automated. So the storage sense, as the name says, will have a constant check on the storage. And once the temporary files are more, it will automatically free up the disk space for you. So right here, I'll enable this storage sense, and I'll also choose to delete the files in the recycle bin if they're there for over 14 days. And I'll also choose to delete the files in the download folder if they've been there for over 60 or say 30 days. So this will efficiently free up a quite decent amount of space free once the space is free, my efficiency will also be increased. So right here, this is the disk cleanup utility, which is for Windows 10 version 1703 and below. So I'll also choose to delete the temporary files and the various active setup temp folders and all those folders. And if at all I have error and crash files that I've stored, I can also choose to clean up those, the cache and the browser files as well, the log files that I've created, and the device driver packages. And in general, I'll choose to clean up the recycle bin. So once I select the necessary options or the necessary files that I would like to clean up, I'll proceed with the next task. So I'll choose to defragment. I'll select the drives that I would like to defragment. I'll specify the type of the operation to analyze the drive or analyze and defragment the disk as well. And then I'll set the priority for this particular task and I'll select the mode of the defragment as well. So once I specify all these details, I'll move ahead and define the target computer right here. So in this case, I'm troubleshooting a specific user's computer, which means I'm just troubleshooting my manager's computer. There are cases where you can go ahead and schedule this task and have the temporary files cleared then and there, and you can have the schedule for all the computers in your network periodically, so which will efficiently reduce such troubleshooting requests. So here you'll go ahead and define the target. So while defining the target, so if you feel that you do not want to remove, so if you specify a wider target range, say if you're specified this task to execute on all the computers in your local office and you don't want this particular task to be executed in specific group of computers, you can go ahead and exclude certain computers from this task as well. So you can go ahead and exclude computers based on computers or a specific group of computers as well. So once you specify the target, next thing I will do is to define the scheduler for this particular task. So yes. So here, while I'm specifying the scheduler, these are the settings. The first is the general setting. I'll choose to enable the task. I'll choose to run this task as an administrator or other users. I'll provide proper credentials, and then I can choose to run this task only when the user is logged on, or even when the user is logged on or not. And I can choose to not store the password as well. I can also set privileges for this particular action. I can choose to run this task with highest privileges. I can completely hide this task and make this task run at the backend without interrupting or without letting the end user know that such task is being executed. And then here is the trigger settings. So you can trigger this task to perform on weekly basis, on daily basis, on monthly basis, or during every system startup, or during every user log on, or whenever the system is idle as well. So here you will be defining when at what time should the task begin. So once I specify this particular schedule, I can also choose to run the specific task every day or once in every 5 days or so. So here is the advanced settings. You can also choose to delay this task. So you let the end user delay this task and also repeat the task for every few hours. And also you can also choose to set an expiry date for this particular task as well. So once this is all done, the next is to specify the condition for this task. So you can choose to kickstart this task if the computer is idle for over 1 hour or so. And you can also choose to start the task if the computer is moved from the idle state. So here is the power management option. If the computer is running on batteries, you can choose to not run the task as well. So if at all the computer is down in the network, you can quickly choose to wake up the computer, perform this task as well. So once I specified or furnished all of these details, I'll move ahead and also configure a scheduler for the uh, storage since. So I can choose to run storage since every day, on weekly basis or on monthly basis, or automatically run whenever there is whenever there is a low disk space detected. So I'll go with this option right now, and once I hit finish, this particular diagnostic task and the disk cleanup task will be triggered. So once the scheduler window is open, all the respective temporary files in the cache files or all the configured files that I've uh, selected to clean up will be automatically removed from the target computer, thereby increasing the efficiency of the target computer. So as this is my uh, end user's computer, I mean the end user is my manager, I'd like to quickly confirm if everything is fine from the remote end. So here under tools, for better communication between you and your end user, so which is a critical aspect of a customer satisfaction. So after troubleshooting, you always need to ensure if everything is fine at the remote end. So how do I do that? So for that, for better and clean channel, communication channel, we offer three different methods of chat: your voice, text to video chat support. So you can instantly or quickly call your end user to confirm if everything goes fine. So even if there is a roaming user. So here, quickly I'll search for Bob's computer and see. I'll initiate a quick video call. So this is how it works. So once call is being accepted from the remote end, I'll just quickly confirm if everything is good at the remote end. So you have three different communication options, and you can make use of all those options. So these are the various tasks that we perform to ensure the end user's computer is efficiently functioning and is not slow. So we saw about the task manager and the services, the event log view analysis, the remote command prompt, and how to change to run the remote command prompt as different user. We also checked for the disk space. We cleaned up the unwanted and temporary files. We defragmented the drives, disks as well. And then we finally confirmed if everything is fine at the remote end using the video chat. So let's move forward to the next scenario. So until now, I hope session is informative to you. So if you have any concerns on Desktop Central in general or the remote control, please feel free to post it on chat. Our experts can help you with that. So the next important thing is to enforce IT policies on the network computers. So in my network, we plan to effectively optimize the power consumption levels. So we're planning to cut down the costs or the running costs due to power consumption. So we are effectively planning our power management, and we also have a set of IT policies that we need to incorporate. So here for that, to efficiently manage the power consumption levels in your network under tools, we have two different options. So here, remote shutdown, the first thing. So once your office is down, the productive hours are done, you can automatically go ahead and select the computers as bulk or individual computers and shut them down. Or else you have a scheduled shutdown pattern. You can configure this for each and every remote office. So right now I'll modify one such task and I'll show you. So right here, so 1 minute, I'll create one such task. So this is specific for Windows as well as Mac systems. So right here, I'll just provide the name of the task. So if it's meant for India remote office, so I'll specify the name as India task, and I'll choose to either shut down the computer, restart the computer. I can also put the computer to the hibernate mode or standby mode, or just simply lock the computer. In this case, as far power management is concerned, once the productive hours are done, I'll go with shutting down the computer. So once I define the operation that I would like to do, I would also furnish the following details. The shutdown mode. I can choose not to disturb the end user if the user is logged on and functioning in my office. So if the user is working with his computer, I can completely choose to not disturb him and skip the task. And also I can choose to allow the end user to interact with the operation. So I can either let him to skip or postpone the shutdown task. Or if I feel like forcing the shutdown operation or the restart operation, I can go ahead and use this option where, irrespective of the user is logged on or live and functioning with the computer, I can go ahead and force the shutdown option. So as of now, I'll allow the end user to interact with my session so that I'll not disturb his productivity. And also, if the productive hours are done, I'll be seamlessly able to shut the computers down. So I'll provide the timeout for the task, and also I'll have to inform the end user before I order the computer. There should be a message, proper message displayed at the remote end before I do the shutdown task. So this is the title of the message, and this is the default message. So if you want to make changes to the message, you'll just go ahead and edit your message right here. And then once it is done, you'll just define the target. So if the task is meant for just the India remote office or the New York remote office, so I'll just specify the target computers. So once I specify the target computers, I'll configure as to when and at what frequency this particular task should be performed. So I want this task to run every day, or and I want this task to run after every day after 9 p.m. So under 24-hour clock, I'll mention the time. So right here, I'll configure the time. So after, so say 10 o'clock, I'll just choose to run the scheduler. So once I do that, I can choose to perform this task every day or every alternative days or only during the weekdays. So I want this task to run every day. Once I click the schedule, I can save the task. Once I save the task, automatically when the scheduler window is open, all the computers in the target network, all the live computers in the target network will automatically be shut down. So the user will also be able to interact with the session, skip or postpone the shutdown process as well. So this way I can cut down the power costs consumed after the productive hours. Also, I'll have to restart the computers or wake the computers once the productive hours begin the next day. So how do I do that? Likewise, under tools, we have another option called the wake on LAN. So just like your remote shutdown, you can go ahead and select individual computers. So this is the status of the machine. So if the marker shows red, your agent is down. So if the marker shows green, the agent is up and communicating with your server. So you can select the computers that are down and wake them instantly before you kickstart your troubleshooting process. Or if you want to have it scheduled, in my case, I'll go with the scheduled wake on LAN. So before we start talking about the wake on LAN, we have a certain set of prerequisites that you have to stick to. So the number one is that you have to have proper BIOS level settings enabled and for the wake on LAN to be seamless. So we have a set of wake on LAN settings that can be performed on the agent machines as well. And once you ensure the BIOS level settings are enabled, you have two different network requirements as well. Your IP directed broadcast should be enabled on the router, and at least one computer with the desktop central agent should be live and functioning in the target subnet. So these are the prerequisites that you have to ensure before performing the wake on LAN task. So here, just like we scheduled the shutdown task, we'll name the wake on LAN task, the port, and the waiting time after the wake up. And also I'll specify the target computers. And once I've specified the target computers, I'll go ahead and define the scheduler. So just like I've mentioned before, once the scheduler is open, all the computers that are down in the target subnet will be sent with the magic packets and waked. So the next thing is I have a set of computers that I think are very critical in the network. So I need to perform a few tasks, few management tasks for that particular group of computers. So which means grouping of computers is very essential for me. For that, I have this under admin tab, I have the custom groups option right here, with which you can categorize and have the computers put under different groups. So once I select this particular option, I can go ahead. These are the various groups that I've created to make my management simple. Say for example, if I'm going to perform this disk cleanup task that we discussed earlier to a particular set of computers on daily basis. So these computers I don't want any temporary files or the cached files stored in these computers and hinder the functionality of the computer. Under such cases, I can go ahead and create new groups. So in Desktop Central, I'll just provide the name of the group. We offer three different type of group. So a static group, a computer in a group is a static group, a static unique group. As the name says, a computer in a particular group cannot exist in a different group. So we have this dynamic grouping method with which you can group computers based on various aspects, based on operating system, the service pack under which the computer is running, the OS version, the type of the computer, the name of the computer, or even with an IP range. You can go ahead, select the criteria and add values to it and have all those computers grouped under a specific roof. And this way your management is made very, very simple. So here, once I have ensured all of this, I need to prove my top management that I have enforced certain policies to cut down the productive or the power consumption costs by optimizing the power. So under reports, I have a unique power management report right here, which I can get the system uptime report. So this is the system uptime report. I can go ahead and select the domain, the period, the custom group, and the timestamp. Once I apply this particular filter, I'll get the complete details, which I can go ahead and have it exported as a report and share with my top management. So this way I've ensured that I have incorporated proper power management or proper policies that my top management wanted me to perform. So moving forward to the next thing. So instantly, so as system administrators, we all always been used to managing critical situations. Consider a case where your Microsoft Exchange server is down and all your end users started initiating or creating troubleshooting requests saying my Microsoft Exchange server is not working. So in such cases, it's better you need to now inform the end users, all the end users in your network, that we are aware that our Microsoft Exchange server is down and we're currently working on it, and this issue can be expected to be resolved in 2 hours or 3 hours. So this way you can reduce the number of recurring requests you get during a downtime or unexpected disasters that happen in your network. So let's see how to get that achieved. So right here under Tools tab, we have this announcement option. So I can go ahead and create an announcement. So right here, I have an announcement created already for Microsoft Exchange Server being down. I'll go ahead and modify that to you and show you how I created that. So I'll just provide the title of the announcement and I'll just convey the brief the message that I would like to convey to the end user. So I'll just inform that we are quite aware that the MS Exchange server is down, and so that is why your Outlook mail application may not work for you. So we are working on that at highest priority. So you can expect the issue to be rectified anytime between 45 to 60 minutes. So you can also ask the end users to refrain from raising help desk tickets. So once it is done, you can show this announcement, you can schedule to show this announcement, and you can also set the frequency. You can show this message multiple times for every 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So you will keep reminding the end user on the announcement that you just made. You will define the target users and have it saved. So once you do that, this particular message will be displayed to the end user, and this is how your end user screen would appear. For a better understanding, I've just populated this message for you. So this is how the message would appear on your end user screen. So these are the various scenarios that we have looked upon. So after this GDPR wave and a lot of cybersecurity threats happening down the line, We all have questions on how secure is your remote control or your desktop central's remote control. So to elaborate that particular query to you better, we are completely desktop central, and the desktop central's remote control is completely HIPAA, PCI, GDPR ready, and we have offered a few exclusive privacy and security settings under various aspects. So as for the server is concerned, we have exclusive server security settings. So under we have an exclusive security settings, we have an exclusive privacy settings. Also, with respect to GDPR, if you're trying to export any reports, and you can hide the personal information, which is the PII, if at all there are personal information such as a person's contact number, the name of the end user, the IP address, or whichever information you consider as PII, you can go ahead and configure the export settings. Thereby, that particular message can either be skipped or blurred during the process of reporting. So these are the general security settings that we offer. With respect to tools and the remote control, as I've mentioned to you already, we have this user confirmation. So one of the major aspects of HIPAA compliance is to mention the end user or get the prior stamp of approval from the end user before we try to initiate the remote session. So you can get that done as well using this particular option right here. You also have the screen recording. So this way you can carefully supervise all the happenings or all the happenings that happen during the troubleshooting session. And this can be used as an audit report as well. So we have the user confirmation. We can also perform the recording the remote session as well. As I have mentioned to you already, we can blacken the remote screen for better privacy and security aspects from the management point of view. And also we offer granular security settings, and we offer role-based access control, which is nothing but under admin tab you have this user administration where you can you use the predefined role, or you can tailor roles of your choice and refrain your end users from accessing information elevated to their privileges. So moving forward, here is a set of a few scenarios that our customers faced on day-to-day aspects and the solutions that we offered. We thought it would be of best purpose to you. So here are these scenarios. So I want to measure the time spent by technicians who are handling my support tickets related to desktops. How do I achieve that? So I want to have a check on how much amount of time a particular user spends on a particular remote session. How do I have a track of it? So under remote control, under history, you get the complete list of all the remote sessions that you've initiated along with the time duration and with the username as well. So this particular user Peter had spent these many minutes or seconds on this particular ticket. So this way you have complete track on the amount of time your technician spent on a particular ticket. Would you like to we would like to monitor the activities of students in our school without their knowledge as is possible. So we are an educational institution and we need to have a track on what kind of information our students browse or on what applications our students use. So how do we do that? So here we have the stealth mode or your view only mode. So if you have this enabled and you choose to hide your remote cursor, you can just silently monitor your end user without hindering their experience. So there are three things that you have to have in mind before you go with the stealth or your view only mode. You need to have your view only mode enabled, the cursor hidden as well, and also you have to refrain yourself from notifying the end users about the remote connection. So having this option enabled will completely ruin the end purpose of this silent monitoring. So you have to have this option disabled, and also you should have the user confirmation disabled as well, so that the end user will not be aware that you're initiating a remote session. So this process silently monitoring the end user's session is also possible. So we are a healthcare company that needs to be HIPAA compliant with certain regulations. Is that possible? So yes, when it comes to healthcare companies, we have HIPAA compliance. When it comes to financial sector, we have PCI in place. So there is this GDPR. So as I mentioned to you already, we have a set of security settings that we offer. So you can believe on ManageEngine Desktop Central in that aspect. So installing and configuring IIS on a remote machine is complex. I want to document the process and use it as a training material for our newcomers. So is this possible? So you find configuring IIS on a remote machine is complex. So as a system administrator, I know as a senior technician, I know how to configure IIS on a particular computer. So I need to educate the next level technician. So here, I not necessarily sit with the computer or sit with the technician to discuss on how this should be configured. Take a simple case. You've changed the printer you have already configured in your network. So you need to let your end users know on how to configure this particular printer. So that's a very quiet and easy step. So here, as a system administrator, you cannot go sit next to everyone to teach how it works. All you have to just do is to have your screen recording enabled. So once you have this screen recording enabled, you can just go ahead and remotely perform the task, and that session will be recorded, and under history, that session, the MP4 of the session will be available right here. You can download it, put it in a share and share it across your network. So using that material or that MP4 file as a guidance material, they can themselves figure out how to do that. So step-by-step instructions, not necessarily be in person, can also be sent as a recorded session as well. So I find my remote sessions slow when I am in a different country or I'm troubleshooting computers roaming users. How do I fix this? So here we have unique performance settings for each and every remote office. Under Tools tab, we have performance settings. So you can go ahead and tweak the settings to control your performance. So you can change the compression levels as well as the color quality. So having changing these compression levels in the color quality will have an impact on the quality of the remote session as well. So making changes to that particular setting will make your remote session more efficient. One of the end users suspects an unauthorized remote access of his machine and has raised it to the IT manager. Is there a way to audit the remote connection to his machine? So as I have mentioned to you already, all the remote sessions can be audited right here. That can be reported and exported as a report as well. So besides this, we have this quick launch tool where you get to see the action log viewer as well. So with that action log viewer, you can completely see the list of all the tasks performed. So under audit, you have that particular option. So using that, you can seamlessly audit all the operations that are performed using your ManageEngine Desktop Central. I have a few servers hosted on no-man environment, and our company policy demands to get users' approval before remote sessions. How do I handle this? So yes, you have a group of servers or critical devices that are hosted in no-man environment, and it's a closed room where there are no people allowed, and you have to troubleshoot those computers remotely. And your company policy in default demands user confirmation. So how do you exclude here? You have to just exclude a set of computers from this particular user confirmation. So under Tools tab, user confirmation. So if you have this option enabled, your by default all your remote users before initiating the remote session will be requested for a stamp of approval. So you can also make this confirmation permanent. So if you enable this option, you have to contact the desktop center support to revoke it back. So if you scroll down below, you can see an option where you can exclude certain computers from this particular confirmation message. So if you add computers to this exclusion list and save it right here, these computers will not be hinted for a confirmation message, and you can seamlessly perform your troubleshooting aspects. So here we have a set of questions that we frequently get during the support sessions as well as the webinars. We have jotted those for you. So if you have any questions so far, you can feel free to raise that on chat as well. So these are the frequently asked questions from our side. I'm running desktop central application on my mobile. Say, this is another interesting scenario. Just in case you're chilling out with your family on a holiday and you get an instant troubleshooting ticket. I know this happens all the time to system administrators. So in that case, would you be running to office to troubleshoot that, or would you be taking your laptop along with you to have this issue sorted? So in such cases, your desktop central mobile application can come handy to you. So under admin tab, we have this mobile app. All you have to just do is to scan this QR code and have the application installed. So once you have the application installed, not just remote control, just you have this option to remotely control the computer. So these are the various operations that you can perform. So not just remote control, you'll also be seamlessly able to use the system manager. So without having to remotely control the computer, you'll still be able to troubleshoot the computer without you physically present in the office. And also you can remotely quickly shut down the computer as well as wake the computer. Not just that, you can also use various options, like you can get the complete inventory details, you can manage patches from the mobile app itself. So yeah, this is how it works. So does screen recording need to be turned on before you establish the remote control session, or can it be turned on during the session? So yes, this is one important aspect to make note of. So if you want to record the screens, you have to enable the screen recording option before you initiate the remote session. So under tools and remote control, the screen recording, you have to have this option enabled way before you initiate the remote session. So if you have this option enabled while in a remote session, the session will not be recorded, the upcoming session will be recorded. So to allow multiple technicians to work on the same remote connection, does that require additional license from ManageEngine? No. For your multiple technician to get or collaborate in the same remote session, you need not acquire multiple licenses. So this is not related to the number of licenses you purchase. So will the remote control automatically reconnect on reboot? Yes, the Desktop Central's remote control has the intelligence to automatically reconnect the session on reboot. So here, my remote control screen shows that the port 8443 is blocked. So this is the most common error message that you get these days. So here, which means your firewall is blocked. The port is blocked in the firewall. You have to enable the port in the firewall. So there, along with the error message that we show, we have an option where you can go ahead and enable this particular port. So if there are other error messages related to ports that you find, we have an exclusive port settings. Under tools, we have an exclusive port settings for remote control and the associated tools. You can go ahead and make changes. So in case if you find any of the ports blocked or it's been used by some other application, you can go ahead and make tweaks to those ports right here. So is it possible to take remote control of a roaming user? Yes, absolutely. With ManageEngine's Desktop Central, you can seamlessly connect to a roaming user as well. So if you have disabled keyboard or mouse, does it automatically disable it for the new technician sharing the session? Yes, there is a technician 1 involved in a session who has disabled the keyboard or mouse. If there is a technician 2 joining the session, the keyboard and the mouse will still be disabled for the second technician as well. So I want the remote connections to automatically disconnect if the technician has been idle for over 10 minutes. So how do I do this? So all the technicians are expected to turn the session down once the administrative or the troubleshooting aspects are done. So just in case, if the technician forgets to end the session, or in case if the end user has any difficulties in ending the session, so we have this option where you can go ahead and the idle timeout settings where you can go ahead and have the session disconnected after a specific amount of time. So our company wants to employ stringent privacy policies that limits technicians or admins from accessing end user files or folders. How do I achieve that? So here under app admin tab, we have an exclusive tool settings right here. This is system manager settings. So these are the two options. So once in this case, I don't want my technician to access the end user files or folders. I want to restrict them from accessing any information that is related to the files or folders. So these are the two aspects will grant the technician access to delete, copy, or transfer the file from one computer to another. So if I go ahead and disable the file, you can choose to disable this particular file manager for all the users, or I can permanently disable this for all the users, or I can have this enabled only for administrators. So if I go ahead and disable this permanently for all the users, I'll just have to contact the desktop center support to revoke this change. So having this disabled, enabled only for administrators would be the right thing as far as this is concerned. Or if I don't want even the administrator to access this, I can choose to disable this for all the users and make changes. So if I have this changed or saved, all the technicians will not be able to access the files and folders in the remote computer. So yes, if you're interested in just the tools or the remote control part of Desktop Central, if you find the remote control and the tools part very useful to you, we are available as a standalone suite. So Desktop Central's remote control and the associated tools are alone available as a standalone package, which is called as the Remote Access Plus. So this is available on premises as well as on cloud. If you're interested in Remote Access Plus, please feel free to put a message on chat. I can help you with that. And also, we offer free sessions, free demo sessions where you can sit with one of our experts, and our experts will completely walk you through the product, not just remote control, every aspect of Desktop Central, be it patch management, deploying a software, or handling various policies in your network. Each and every concept of Desktop Central can be dealt in detail. So if you're interested in that demo session, which is completely free of cost, post a message on chat. I can help you sit with a technical expert. So to know more about Desktop Central and the standalone remote control platform, which is Remote Access Plus, please visit these links below, and also drop a message if you're interested in the Remote Access Plus. So by this, we come to the end of the training session. Please rate us in the scale of 1 to 5. If you find the information that we just shared with you a little informative or useful in your day-to-day system administration and troubleshooting needs, please rate us the best. And also spread a word about us on all the following social media. So this is the next training schedule. Stay tuned. You will be getting to know about the configuration and the hidden tricks in on these schedules. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for taking your time to get into the session. Thank you so much.